Hi everyone, here with your weekly reading. So let's see, try to get this somewhat lined up here.
Uh, okay, a thickness in the air right now. Something dense and electric that you might already be feeling. It's not quite tension, it's not quite anticipation, it's somewhere in between, like the moment before a storm breaks, when everything goes still and charged at the same time. And if you've been sensing that something is about to shift, that the energy around you feels different than it did even a few days ago, you're not imagining it. It may feel as though you're standing at the edge of something you can't quite see yet. This moment, this particular stretch of time, carries a quality that's hard to describe, almost like the walls between what is and what could be are thinner than usual. Like the membrane separating your current reality from another version of your life has become permeable. And in that permeability, there's possibility for something to break through that couldn't before. Some of you might notice it as restlessness, a feeling that you can't quite settle, that your body knows something your mind hasn't caught up to yet. That's not anxiety. That's awareness. That's your system recognizing that the ground beneath you is shifting. Even if you can't see the movement with your eyes, there is a sense of compression here. Like everything that's been building, all the invisible work you've been doing, all the internal shifts, all the quiet growth that no one else has witnessed, it's all reaching a point of convergence. And convergence doesn't happen slowly, it happens in bursts, in unexpected moments, in windows of time that feel both brief and eternal. And you might be entering one of those windows now. This reflection invites you to consider what part of your life feels like it's been holding its breath, waiting for permission to exhale. What makes this different from other moments of change is the speed. It's not gradual. It's not something you'll see coming from miles away. It may feel as though one moment you're in one reality and the next something fundamental has shifted. Not because the world changed, but because your relationship to it did. Because something inside you unlocked. Because a door you didn't even know was there suddenly swung open. And the disorientation of that, the whiplash of unexpected movement, it can feel overwhelming, almost surreal, like you're watching your life unfold from outside yourself, trying to catch up to what's happening. Some of you might experience this through connection, through a conversation that alters everything, through a person who appears and says exactly what you needed to hear, or shows you a version of yourself you'd forgotten existed. It can seem as if they arrived out of nowhere, but when you look closer, you might realize they were always meant to cross your path at this exact moment. Others might feel it as an internal revelation, a sudden clarity that cuts through months or years of confusion, a recognition of something that was always true but you couldn't see until now. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. And that changes the trajectory of everything that comes after. There's also the possibility of external movement, something in your material world that shifts rapidly, an opportunity, a change in circumstance, a piece of information, a resolution to something that's been stuck, and it might arrive so quickly that you don't have time to prepare for it. You just have to respond, to move with it, to trust your instincts in real time. And that immediacy, that lack of time to overthink or second guess, it might actually serve you. Because sometimes we think ourselves out of the things that are trying to reach us. We analyze and question and hesitate until the moment passes. But when something moves this fast, there's no room for hesitation, only action, only presence. This reflection invites you to consider, if you had to make a choice right now without time to prepare, what does your body already know? Um, um, there's a vulnerability in this kind of acceleration because when things unfold slowly, you have time to adjust, to build your defenses, to protect yourself from disappointment. But when something happens in the span of hours, when the distance between wanting and receiving collapses, there's no buffer, no armor, just raw, immediate experience. And for some of you, that might feel terrifying. The idea that something you've been hoping for could actually arrive, and you'd have to let it in without all your carefully constructed safeguards. That you'd have to be seen, be open, be willing to receive without knowing exactly how it will unfold. But here's what's also true. You've been preparing for this without realizing it. Every moment of uncertainty you've navigated, every disappointment you've survived, every time you've had to trust yourself when nothing else was certain, all of that has been building your capacity to handle the unexpected, to move with change rather than resist it, to say yes when the opportunity arrives, even if it doesn't look exactly like you thought it would. So you're more ready than you think, even if it doesn't feel that way. Even if part of you is still bracing for the other shoe to drop, there's a deeper part of you, the part that's been quietly growing all this time, that knows how to handle what's coming. This reflection invites you to consider, what would it mean to trust that you're equipped for whatever unfolds, even if you can't see the full picture yet? There's also something here about release, about the way holding on too tightly can actually prevent the very thing you want from arriving. And it may feel as though you've been gripping so hard for so long, white knuckling your way through, trying to control every variable, that your hands have forgotten how to open. But in these next hours, in this compressed window of possibility, you might find yourself naturally letting go, not because you've given up, but because something in you recognizes that the grip isn't serving you anymore. That the only way to receive what's trying to come through is to unclench, to soften, to make space. And when you do is less than #0. 5# is greater than when you allow that softening. You might be startled by how quickly things can shift, how the thing that felt impossible yesterday suddenly feels inevitable today, how the door that was locked swings open the moment you stop forcing it, how the answer you've been searching for arrives the second you stop asking the question. It's almost like the universe was waiting for you to get out of your own way. This reflection invites you to consider, what are you still holding on to that you know deep down it's time to release? So as you move through these next hours, stay present, stay aware, notice what shows up, notice who reaches out, notice the thoughts that surface, notice the impulses that arise, because in rapid movement, in unexpected change, the most important thing you can do is remain anchored in yourself, grounded in your own knowing, connected to the part of you that can navigate without a map. You don't need to force anything. You don't need to make something happen. You just need to be available, open, receptive to what's already trying to find you. And if it feels overwhelming, if the speed of it all makes your head spin, remember that you're not required to have all the answers right now. You're not required to understand everything as it's happening. Sometimes the most powerful moments in our lives are the ones we can only make sense of later. when we look back and see how perfectly everything aligned, even when it felt chaotic in the moment, trust the movement, trust the unfolding, trust that whatever's coming, you're ready for it in ways you can't even see yet. Stay open, stay present, and let yourself be surprised.